Hello, my name is Keshwani. It's Keshwani, Keshwani. We are here because we want to prepare for SAT. We have been solving SAT math problems out of this book here, the official SAT study guide. If you do not own this book already, purchase one immediately. You're going to need it. The problem that we are about to solve is the one that you will find on page number 847. Please turn to it. 847, and today is our lesson number 111. This particular section has 20 questions and they are all of the same type. In other words, they are all multiple choice questions. The emphasis is there because if they were not all of the same type, then the scale of difficulty would vary in the middle of the exam. But here, they are all of the same type, which means scale of difficulty. There is only one scale of difficulty, beginning with 1, ending with 20, which means the first 5 or 6 questions are easy, the middle 5 or 6 questions are going to be medium, and the last 6 or 7 are going to be hard. The page that we are about to do, page number 847, and the following page, 848, they are all easy questions. Let's get going then. Number 1, on a scale of 1 to 20, number 1 is It's very simple. It says, in a certain game, points are assigned to each word. Points are assigned to every word. Each Q, X, and Z in a word is worth 5 points. Let's make a note here. Q, X, and Z are 5 points. And all others are 1 point. Alright, so far so good. What is the sum of the points assigned to the word exquisite? Well, let's find out, shall we? X, Q, U, I, S, I, T, E. It's very simple, as I said, it's number 1 obviously. So, Q, X, and Z. Let's take care of that first. I see a Q here, that's the 5 points. I see a X here, that's the 5 point. There is no Z here, and that's it, we're done. So it's 1, 1, 1, 1, 1, 1, and 1. All the rest are 1. So that's just the only reason why anybody would get this question wrong is the carelessness. So don't be cocky just because it's simple. I've done it many times myself, where we become a little bit more cocky and we end up making careless mistakes. We can't afford that. This is the gift. The last thing you want to do is blow not only this one but any of the easy questions. The first 6 questions in this section, you must get all 6 of them right, because you are going to make 1 or 2 mistakes in the medium one. You are going to make 1 or 2 mistakes, perhaps even more, on the hard ones. Everybody does. So you cannot afford to make any mistakes in the first 6 questions. You must get all of them right. So 5 plus 5 is 10, and let's just count by 5s. 2, 4, 5, so that's another 5, 15, 16, and 17. That's it, that's your answer. 17 is our answer. The answer is 17. Answer is B. Number 2. X minus 10 equals 20. And the question is, how much is x minus 5? And since they are giving us the value of 2x minus 10, we should realize that x minus 5, if we were to divide this side by 2 and this side by 2, we will end up with 2x over 2 minus 10 over 2. 2x over 2, of course, is x, and 10 over 2 is 5. So they're telling us what x minus 5 is. So if you divide that by 3, we get 10. So x minus 5 is 10. In other words, take the original equation that they give us and divide by 2. And that's all. We don't have to actually waste our time figuring out the value of x and then putting it back in there. No need for that. You can take a shortcut. Just divide the equation by 2 and you're done. Because that's what they're looking for. They're looking for x minus 5, which is exactly half of the left-hand side of the original equation, which is 2x minus 10. You see? Number 3. On page number 848. Number 3. We are still in the easy territory, as I said. The whole of next page is easy questions. If t represents an odd integer, which of the following expression represents an even integer? Well, listen, instead of analyzing it theoretically, instead of analyzing this question theoretically, algebraically, the best and the simplest and the quickest way would be simply to plug in a number. Let's plug in a number for t and see what happens. T represents an odd integer. But when you're plugging in numbers, as I always remind you, plugging in is a very good technique, but there are certain rules that you have to abide by. Do not plug in 0. 0 is a dangerous number to plug in, because anything times 0 is 0. It just obliterates the whole problem. If Michael is X years old and if you plug in X for 0 for X, obviously that'll be silly. Don't plug in 0, don't plug in 1, because 1 doesn't evolve. 1 squared is just 1. 5 times X will be just 5. It doesn't evolve. Do you understand? Let's plug in, since we cannot plug in 1, let's plug in 3. T represents an odd integer. You want to keep your number as small as possible, because the smaller the number that you plug in, the less work we will have to do. Let's plug in T. Let's pretend T equals 3. So in the problem, you don't have to write it separately. Don't waste your time writing it out separately. T equals 3. Not only it takes time to write it like this, but then when you finally go to the answer choices and you have to remember what T was, you have to go looking for it all over the page. Your eyes are going to wander all over the page. Just very simple. Pick up your pencil. Where letter T appears in the problem, draw a little line, just like I did, and put down the value that you want to plug in. T equals 3. Which of the following represents an even integer? Let's get going then. A says T plus 2. T plus 2 is going to be 3 plus 2. 3 plus 2 is not even. B says 2 times T, which is going to be 6 minus 1, which is odd. We're looking for even. It says which of the following represents an even integer. 3t minus 2. 3t is going to be 6 minus 2. That's not it. That's 6 minus 2 is going to be 4. That's an even number. 3t plus 2. Again, it's going to be 6 plus 2. That's even. The answer is E. The answer is E, which is 5t plus 1. Our t is 3. So it's 15 plus 1, which is 16. And that's our even number that we're looking for. The question was, which of the following represents an even integer? E represents an even quantity. Number 4. Number 4. For the triangles above, they are giving us two triangles there, ABC and DEF. The perimeter of ABC equals to the perimeter of DEF. Alright, that's good to know. If ABC is an equilateral triangle, alright. So ABC is an equilateral triangle. All three sides are equal, and we are told the perimeter. We are told that the perimeter of ABC equals the perimeter of DEF. So that's 4, 8, and 9. 4 plus 8 plus 9, 12 plus 9, 12 plus 10 will be 22, it's 21. And these three sides are equal. What is the question asking? What's the length of AB? They're looking for the length of AB since all of these three sides are equal. 3 times x, 3x equals 21, and therefore x equals 7. Very good. They are 7, 7, and 7 because it's an equilateral triangle. Number 5. The graph above represents all the jeans that were sold by the retail store in 2001. Alright, fine. According to their brands. And I hope that you have the book in front of you, because I'm not going to reproduce the graph on the blackboard. Open the book, page 848. You must always do the problem with me. Or better yet, you must try these problems on your own first and then compare your work with the work we do together. If the store sold 900 pairs of jeans, here's the juicy bit rather. If the store sold 900 pairs of jeans other than the brand J, K, L, M, and N. Well, let's look at the chart there. If you take out J, K, L, M, and N, only thing that we're left with is what they're calling other brands. And we know that's 20%. And we've just been told that that quantity is 900, because we are told, it says here, if the store sold 900 pairs of jeans other than J, K, L, M, and N. That's other brands. How many pairs were sold in total? Well, that's very simple. If 20% of something equals 900, this stands for something, whatever that is. If 20% of something is 900, that implies that 10% of the same thing must equal half of that. And therefore 100% is 10 times as much. And therefore 100% is 10 times as much. 100% equals 10 times as much, or 4,500. That's it. That's your answer, 4,500. The answer is E. Now, if you didn't want to make this much fuss about it, we could have avoided a lot of step in between by simply realizing that if 20% of something is 900, then 100% of the thing would be 5 times as much. 5 times 20 is 100, so it's 5 times 900. 10 times 900 is 9,000. Therefore, 5 times 900 should be half of 9,000, which is 4,500. Or we can see 9 times 5, 9 5s are 45, and a 2 0. Number 6. Number 6. The very last page on the page, the very last problem on the page. Number 6. If there were no waste, how many square yards of carpeting is needed to cover a rectangular floor that is 12 feet by 18 feet? 12 feet by 18 feet. Now the key here is to pay attention to what is being asked. You must never read the punchline the way I just did. The punchline is what is being asked. You must never read your punchline. There is a vocab word coming here. You must never read your punchline in a cursory manner. What does it mean, cursory? I know we learned this word in our vocabulary lessons, and I want to find out which day it was. I'll tell you. I'm looking at the list here of the words. Under C, cursory. To do something in a cursory manner means to do it in a hurry, to do it in a haste. And I know we learned it, but for some reason there are too many words beginning with C, so it's going to take some time. I see. Oh, there you go. Day number 22. Just type in vocabulary day 22 and you will learn this word along with some other useful good words that will help you improve your vocabulary to get a better score, to enable you to get a better score in the reading part of the exam. If you want to improve your score in the writing portion of the exam, 80% of the so-called writing portion is actually made up of simple multiple choice grammar questions, and you will find help on those questions at my channel as well. Anyway, the word was cursory, which means to do something in a hurry, to do something in a haste. The adverb, which I have been avoiding so far, I did not use the adverb, I was saving it until the end. The adverb of cursory would be cursorily. Say it slowly and you will get it right. Cursorily. You must never read the punchline cursorily like I just did. I'm going to read one more time, and this time I'm going to emphasize with my tone the key part. The question here is, the punchline here is, if there is no waste, how many square yards are needed? But the dimensions are given in feet. So you have two choices here. You can either continue your work in the dimensions that are given here in feet, and at the very end convert your answer from square feet to square yard, which is a risky proposition, or the safe path, the safe way to go would be to simply convert all your dimensions. Whenever the punchline is in different units, then the problem is presented. If the problem is presented in different units, if the problem tells you the price is in cents and the question is asking the punchline is in dollars, convert everything into dollars right away. You understand? If the rate of work is being stated in minutes and the question is asking how many hours it's going to take, convert everything into hours immediately. Everything, the entire problem, because that's what the punchline is. The punchline is asking you how many hours. Convert everything in hours right away. That's what I'm going to do here. Because they're asking you how many square yards are needed, I'm going to convert everything into yard from the very beginning. So 12 feet, which is very simple, 12 divided by 3 is 4, so it's just 4 yards. 4 yards, not 4 feet. What the hell? 4 yards, and this is 6 yards. 18 divided by 3 is 6. So it's just, the dimensions are 4 yards by 6 yards. And you will never go wrong. It's just 24 square yards. The answer is 24 square yards. Now notice what would have happened if we had left notice you will notice in a second here what will happen if we had left our dimensions in the original fashion, in which case we would have had this part. We would have had 12 feet by 18 feet. First of all, you will have to spend a lot of time multiplying these two quantities out, and secondly, you will have to know how many square feet in a square yard. Now it seems like a silly question to ask. Do you know how many square feet in a square yard? A square yard does not have 3 feet. A square yard is made up of 9 square feet. It is not made up of 3 square feet. And I'm going to show it to you very quickly why a square yard is made up of 9 square feet and not 3 square feet. I'm going to draw it. Watch here. I'm going to draw here a square yard. There you go. This is 1 yard. This is 1 yard. 1 yard. 1 yard. It's a 1 square yard. A yard from here to here is 1 yard. Is made up of 3 feet. There you go. 1, 2, and 3. 1, 2, and 3. Similarly, a yard is made up of 3 right here. And each of them is 1 square feet. This is 1 foot by 1 foot. And how many do you see here? There are 9 of them. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and 9. There are 9 square feet. 9 square feet make a square yard, not 3. So a lot of people I've seen, they end up sitting there, first of all, they waste a lot of time multiplying these two numbers out, and then they forget and they divide by 3, and of course they're going to end up picking one of the sucker answers. The correct answer here is 24. Actually, 24 times 3 is not even there. You're lucky for us. If you were to divide by 3, you will realize that something has gone wrong. Or you might forget that they're asking in square yards, and you might just pick 12 times 18 as the answer, which is answer choice E. 12 times 18. Don't do that. So we have to divide this by 9. And again, there is no need to no need to multiply these two out. Just divide it just like the way it's written. 12 divided by 3 is 4, and 18 divided by 3 is 6, which is exactly what we had done before. We had 4 yard by 6 yard, which is exactly what is going on here, as you can see. I will see you tomorrow, okay? Or we will continue our work on the next page. Bye now.